Man, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of In the Blender. We're starting a little bit late, but that's all right. Listen, this isn't time sensitive. Um, they say good things happen for those who wait, and I am glad I waited. I met this next guest on the Finn's tailgate. He had great takes. He was fair, balanced, and he has enthusiasm, and I like that about fellow Dolphin fans. That not only are they enthusiastic, but they could take their blinders off for a second. And this guy is no exception. He's a very him and Crypto are fellow air traffic controlmen, and that's another thing that kind of intrigued me, man. One thing about me is if I use Crypto as a litmus test. If Crypto likes you, then I love you. You know what I'm saying? So let me when we get back, we'll introduce our guest, Mr. Bryson. And yeah. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Shake, 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 yeah. Shake, 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 shake. Shake money in the place. Miami plays, Miami days in the blender was shaking his friends. We're gonna talk about the Fins again. Miami plays, Miami days in the blender was shaking his friends. We're gonna talk about the Fins again. Is you a fan or a troll? Are you trying to wish us good? Trying to take control. Bringing problems to the hood. What takes your soul? Miami Dolphins bring the wood. Bowlers the gold. Tyreek Hill. I'm trying to kick it with Shake. You gotta be a real fan. No pretenders and fakes. We're gonna open up the line. Come correct with your taste. If you step into us blind, we're gonna show you the way. Miami plays, Miami days in the blender was shaking his friends. We're gonna talk about the Fins again. Miami plays, Miami days in the blender was shaking his friends. We're gonna talk about the Fins again. Never want the season to end. Mix it up a little with gin. And I remember when I knew that the Dolphins would win. Yeah, rockin' with Shake, rockin' with Shake. Let's go. I never want the season to end. Never mix it up a little with gin. That's right. Pass it off to one of my friends. Yeah, rockin' with Shake, rockin' with Shake. Larry K, what up? Phin-Addicts. TFTG, the tailgate. Miami Dolphins, baby. What up, Lou? Shake money. Crypto. Check it. Me? God bless y'all. Miami Dolphins #1. And we out. Miami Dolphins football, the greatest football team. We push the ball from goal to goal like no one's ever seen. Respect us.
Good morning, Your Majesty. It is another beautiful day in Zamunda.
What is up? What is up? Michael K, what's up? My man Tonk is in the building. What's up, Cat for Life? How you doing? My man Raphael Courtright, as always. Appreciate you. So like I said, with no further delay, let me introduce you to my man, Mr. Bryson. What's up, Bryson? How you doing?
Hey, what's up, Shake? That was a great intro, by the way. That was a cool video. I like that.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's cool, man. Yeah.
Shout out to HB and Ty Bless, man, for making that happen.
Yeah, that was sick. That was real cool. That was cool.
So, all right, man. The million dollar question: how did you become a Dolphin fan? Let's get into it.
All right, so like a short answer. I'll give you the long answer, but the short answer is
go ahead. Give me the long answer. We got an hour. Right?
Yeah, I grew up watching my dad yell at the TV on Sundays. That's how I really became one. So basically,
I grew up watching my dad yell too, but it wasn't at the TV. It was mostly me. But that's not important.
Oh, he did plenty of yelling at me too. No, but my dad, I'm real close to my dad. Love my dad. He's awesome. I grew up in West Palm Beach, Florida, which it's a little bit north of Miami, not too far. But and not a lot of college fans down there. I mean, there's college fans, but pro football is what everyone loves down there, and from my experience at least. And yeah, my dad, he just loved football. He was a big Miami Dolphins fan. He'd watch some baseball here and there. We like to watch golf, but man, pro football, when football season was on, every Sunday we were watching football. And we'd go to church on Sunday morning, and then we'd get back before the 1 o'clock games. And I just remember we just get together, and it was just such a good family event every time.
Yeah.
And I mean, the game sucked most of the time. But I remember watching Ricky Williams, in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, and him just like, I just remember this one play vividly where he just basically started from the right 20-yard line and just zigzagged pretty much the whole field for like an 80-yard touchdown. And like that was when I was probably hooked on like, okay, this is my team and Ricky Williams is my player.
Yeah.
Ronnie
Do you
Brown.
remember what game?
No, I don't. I was too young. I was pretty young.
Okay.
I'm 26. I'll be 27 next month. So I'm a
Okay.
younger fan.
Damn, you're young.
Ronnie Brown. I had a poster on him growing up on my wall. Zach Thomas really struck me because he was just this small guy that would just throw himself at people head first, and he had such heart and toughness. Jason Taylor, I love Jason Taylor, like just a clean guy, great guy. I liked Cameron Wake, but to me, Jason Taylor was just different.
Yeah, I like Zach Thomas, and there's a reason why I like Zach Thomas even more.
Yeah.
This is the reason why I like Zach Thomas even more. Where is he? Damn it. Let me see. Sorry. Well, of course. We'll continue. Here.
Yeah, while you find that, oh, nice, dude. That's awesome. And he's a nice guy, I've heard, too, when you meet him. I've never met him, but I've heard he's a real nice guy.
Yeah, he signed my my hat, too. Hall of Fame.
That's sick. That's sick. Yeah, so yeah, I've never seen a playoff win. That is correct, Michael K. But yeah, Chris Chambers was one of my favorite receivers, dude. Like I just love Chambers for some reason. I just had a connection.
I like him too, man. He was the second best 84 in the NFL. What's up, Scott Jackson? Behind Randy Moss.
Yeah, and there's a lot of players, like I grew up, now I wouldn't say when I was a kid I was a diehard fan, right? It was just kind of something that the family did. I do remember one time, I don't remember how old I was, but I remember buying my dad there was a long time where we didn't go. And I mean, we went before the roof and everything was there and it'd be hot as fuck. But I remember taking my dad to his Dolphins game, and because most of the times we just get nosebleeds or whatever was cheapest just because we knew they were going to lose. We didn't want to invest much money. But I remember taking him down to like the right corner. We were about the 5-yard line, close to the end zone, and there were real good seats in the lower bowl. And that was one of my fondest memories with my dad because it was just such a fun game. I don't even remember the game, to be honest. It's just being there with my dad and the energy of the stadium. And man, that was so fun. And I remember when I showed him the tickets for his birthday, he was just so excited and ecstatic. And it just that was one thing where just like there's pure joy in being able to share a moment with my dad. I remember another time we had a close family friend that had some club seats, and I got to go to a game in the club seats, and that was real cool. We actually played the Cleveland Browns, and we were winning the game. Mm-hmm. And someone in our party was rooting for the Browns, and I was like making fun of them because we were beating them. They're like, he's like, dude, we both suck. It don't mean nothing. And then sure enough, the Browns came back that game and beat us. But yeah, it was funny. But yeah, anyways, if you got any points too, you want to go or lines?
No. It's all about this is your episode, baby. It's all about you.
Okay, appreciate you, Shake. Yeah, so basically, growing up, into college, I was a fan, but I wouldn't say like I watched like I do now. Like I didn't know the 53-man roster. I didn't know who the bubble players are. I didn't know the draft picks unless it was a big pick, right?
Yeah,
I knew the Christian Wilkins of the world. Well, that's more newer, but we'll back up a few years. And then when I moved away, so I was in college in University of North Florida in Jacksonville. A lot of Jags fans up there, and obviously it's Jacksonville. And sorry about that. And then I dropped out of college, was working back at home, in West Palm, and then I decided to join the military, right? So I joined the military, and for anybody that served, one, I'd like to say thanks for your service, but two, you know what it's like to just be sent away from home and just be kind of on your own and
Yeah.
alone. It's very it's hard, it's tough. And you miss home, and you miss your memories, and you miss the things you did as a family. And football was one of those things that I was able to, on a Sunday, turn on the game and just go back home for a little bit. Like watching the Dolphins kept me, just reminding me of my mom and my dad and my brothers, and experiencing those games together. And it was just like an escape, right? So I did air traffic control in the military too, which, you know, it's a stressful job, but the main part of the stress is while you're in training. And now, while I was in training, it was real tough, and I didn't have a lot of money. I wasn't making much in the military, and it was
Real
just,
quick, speaking of
yeah.
military, Raphael Courtright is here. He was in the military. He was part of the branch that ate crayons, if you know what that means.
Oh, I know exactly what that means. He was an old Marine, huh?
Yeah.
He's a Marine. That's a funny TikTok if you haven't heard of it before. But anyways, yeah. So I didn't make much money, so on the weekends I didn't have much to do. And but I had, with my rent, I had free cable, so I was able to get the games, or I would just, stream them, right? And so that was just something that was real nice, that I was able to do. And it just, that first year I was at Barksdale in Louisiana, that's where I was stationed. That first year I was there, so this is about 6 or 7 years ago, I would say. That was the year before. I think that was Flores' first year as coach.
Okay.
The 5 and 10 year, right? Is that year?
Yeah. The first
Where we
2019.
started like real bad and then just went on a win streak.
Mm-hmm.
It was either that year or the year before, one of the two. But either way, it was right around that time where that's when I became a diehard fan. Where like I was like, okay, this has always been my team, but now I'm going to pay attention in depthly. And that's back when, in the military, everyone does this, but we really love fantasy. Like, we still have the same leagues from back then. And so I was trying to learn the players and all this stuff, the stats and everything. So, yeah, I started being a diehard fan, and, I'd call my dad. That was a thing I'd always do. Before the game, I called dad, and after the game, I called pops, and, get his thoughts, and at halftime, too, and just kind of get his thoughts. And, my dad has a business, and so he's real busy kind of guy. He don't pay attention to it, and he's not a big stat guy, but he likes to hear them. So he'll always call me and be like, hey, what's going on with our injuries, blah, blah, blah. And I was able to, pass on to him. And that was just something that we were able to stay in contact with during football season, just something to chat about, which that was real cool. Yeah. And then basically being in Louisiana, you're not around a lot of Dolphin fans. In Louisiana, especially Shreveport, which is northwest Louisiana, if no one's familiar, you have Saints fans and you have Cowboys fans. And there's more Cowboy fans than Saints fans, that's for sure. And you don't have Dolphin fans nowhere. Like, you wear your gear and there's none of them out there. So I went on YouTube. Dudley Do Wrong was the first guy I ever watched on YouTube about
Yeah, me too.
About the Dolphins.
Well,
and
not the first, but
sorry, man, I keep coughing. About the Dolphins, and then I branched off from there, went to
TD?
inside the NFL,
and
then
TD?
TD too. Yeah, I watched TD, love TD. I love his trolling, bro. I'm a troll myself sometimes, and I love that he's such a good troll. But he's also like, he does believe some of these things, but he's really good at that stuff. And then somehow I landed up on the tailgate, and I just found a community here that was real special. I remember the first night I came on, it was Color, and it was Color Commentary was the show.
Yeah,
and it was
great
just,
guy.
Yeah, great guy. Love Color. This was actually pretty early on in the in TFTG's history. It was, I don't know how long they were online, but it was I mean, we were, pretty low. Like, I think I was one of the first 100 or 200 subscribers. And Color, he just had a way of talking. He had kind of this radio voice that I liked.
Yeah, for sure.
And he's a very, very intelligent guy, very intellectual, very analytical, loves the stats. I'm a big stat guy, love the stats. and I it was a draw, and I was able to get on and say hi, say who I was, and he was just real nice and welcoming. Well, anyways, he's like, come on the next show, you got to come on. So I came on, and it was Capitan, and Cap was super nice and friendly, and I hit it off with him. And I love Cap; he's funny, man.
Yeah, he is.
Some West Palm Beach boys, baby. Yeah,
Him
Cap
and
and
Tonk too.
Color.
Tonk is West Palm Beach too.
Tonk too? Oh yeah, Tonk is. Yeah, that's true. So yeah, I just hit it off with them, and I'll go through spurts where I don't get on just because I've been busy with work or whatever, or the Dolphins just piss me off, and I'm just not trying to hear any Dolphins talk. But those are few and far between. I mean, I get pissed off plenty by the Dolphins, but
Well, trust me,
me
too.
going on the spurts of not listening is few and far between. I mean, but yeah, it was cool, man. Always welcoming. I like this show because there's beef, but it gets, you know, it gets cleaned out. It gets water on the bridge, There's a lot of noise, a lot of craziness, but we all come together. We all know we're fans. We all want the same thing. We have a different way to get there, but there's a lot of differing opinions, but there's a lot of respect on this channel. There's a lot of love for the Dolphins. And this show, because there's some shows that I'm not going to name because I'm not going to throw them under the bus, that it's just like, it seems like they're always trying to get donos. And this show doesn't do this. They're here. Cap is here. Shake is here. Color, Ali, Crypto, the whole nine. Everyone's here because they love the Dolphins and they want to talk about it.
Yeah,
My long-winded answer there, but basically, I came to YouTube and the Fins Tailgate because I needed to talk to someone about the Dolphins, and find a community in that, because in West Palm, you go to Duffy's or you go to the Golden Ring or wherever, right? But, I don't have that here. I got Cowboys fans here, and those fans are fucking annoying, by the way. Sorry for cussing.
No. You could. Just don't do it too much. Peace out, Michael K. Appreciate you.
See you, Michael K. Thanks for coming by, man. But yeah, man, that's really kind of it. If you have any questions along that, great show you guys have.
Yeah, I've been with the. As a matter of fact, this summer I started my second year anniversary with the Fins Tailgate, man. And look at El Capitan is right here. Your fellow West Palm Beach dude right here.
What up, Cap?
And by the way,
buddy. Yeah, buddy, Cap. Bro, Cap's funny, man. I know when Cap reads my comments, because sometimes I'll get in the comment section to troll or be funny. And I know when he reads it, because he does that little giggle where he sits back into his chair and, bends over, man. That shit's funny, man. Yeah. But it's a good time here. It's a good time.
By the way, not only is Raphael a Marine, but he's also my idol. Ever since I was a little kid, I always wanted to be like Raphael Courtright. No, Raphael Courtright is a good dude. He supports me, man. I mean,
no, I've seen him around here.
I've loved around here a while. Man. He supports.
Let me go grab water.
And by the way, Big C, if you like 10, it comes on 10 o'clock religiously every day. He will be on this network next week, man. Big C, he's another guy that I'll show you. He's from the Fins Posse. He will be on next week, man.
Nice.
I mean, this Thursday.
Oh, nice. That'll be nice. Yeah. Yeah, man. You know what's funny, actually, Shake? I have a buddy in NYU Law School right now, and he had this project where he had to interview somebody and ask them a question, why, basically. So, like, why this or why that, right? And everyone's doing like political stuff, and he's like, I don't want to do any of that. That's not fun. And so he was like, I went to high school with this guy. He called me and he's like, hey, can I interview you? I got to record it, blah, blah, blah. And his question was, why are you a fan of whatever you are? Right. So the Dolphins was for me. He's a Jets fan, by the way.
Of course.
And, dude, we went down this whole rabbit hole of questions and all this stuff. It was a great interview. And he just kind of let me go, and I can let it rip, man. I know how to talk. And yeah, it was great. And the professor loved it. He's like, dude, I've never had someone do something like that. Like, no one's even thought about this. It was really cool. And I think he got an A. I hope he got an A. He deserved it one.
Yeah, man. One thing about the Miami Dolphins, You especially the younger. I attribute the younger.
Yeah.
Because you know what I'm saying. You guys stick around through the misery because we see at least. I'm 47 years old. I
Yeah.
got to see some winning. You know what I'm saying.
I never did,
And
man.
but no, here look. I've done this is my third season. I had El Capitan on. I had Rafael Cortran on.
Yeah.
You know, and there's all right. I want to see if you could guess the three reasons. All right, the three top reasons why people became Dolphin fans. Can you guess the three?
I would say family, Dan Marino, and the third one's got to be, I don't know the third one. Probably just where you from.
Damn, you got all three of them.
Oh, really? Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, a lot of them become because of their dad, specifically.
Dan Marino, like, and he doesn't get talked about personally on my Mount Rushmore of quarterbacks.
Especially fans that are not
Yes, not from Florida,
not from Miami.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, on my Mount Rushmore of quarterbacks, I'm putting Dan Marino. It's Tom Brady, Dan Marino, Joe Montana, and I'm a big Peyton Manning fan, so I'm putting him up there. But Dan Marino, with this style of offense, like, or just like nowadays offense, right? And the referees and stuff, he'd have 6,000 yards every year. I mean, this guy had an absolute cannon and was accurate and was smart with the ball. And I mean, just an absolute athlete with his arm, just absolute cannon. And man, I wish Dan Marino, I know he was super big back then, but you know, a lot of those greats don't get talked about enough today. And I think Dan Marino is real special. Like, if Dan Marino was 23 years old, I'd take him over Patrick Mahomes any day. Any day. I don't care how many Super Bowls Pat's got and Dan don't. I don't care. If you put Dan Marino on the Chiefs at 23, he's winning that Super Bowl against the Eagles, and he's probably got a couple more rings than Patrick Mahomes. Love Patrick Mahomes. There's no sweat on Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying anything bad about that guy. Great quarterback, and he's having an outstanding career. But you can't tell me that he don't have help when it comes to the Kelseys of the world, the Andy Reids of the world, and that defense.
Oh, I do one even better. Look, and this is no shot at Don Shula. Don Shula is the best coach that Miami Dolphins had, bar none. But if he had a coach like Andy Reid, oh my God.
Crazy. And wasn't Don older though when he got Dan?
Yeah, he was in his but never remember when I would say because so he got his first coaching job, and I would say he took the Colts to the Super Bowl. He was 33 years old when he got his first head coaching job, when he first became a head coach.
Wow.
So he was
that's young.
I would say in his 40s.
Okay.
40, maybe.
Oh, when he got Dan Marino, let me look. I got ChatGPT right here. I don't know why I didn't just do that. Don Shula.
Yeah, Don Shula started as, and by the way, here's a fun trivia fact that a lot of people don't know. Everybody, somebody brought this up to me the other day. I can't remember who it is, so I apologize for not giving you. Oh yeah, it was Mike on the mic. Mike on the mic. He was one of the original members of the Finn's Tailgate, and he said he told me what was the best number one draft pick that Miami Dolphins ever had. It was Don Shula, because apparently Joe Robbie tampered was tampering, and they got busted, and they lost a first round draft pick because of it.
Wow.
So technically that was the best first round draft pick we ever had used.
It says he was 53 years old when he first started coaching in 83, coaching Marino in 83, and then his final season with Marino was 65 years old. So he wasn't too old. I mean, I'm pretty sure Andy Reid's probably in his 50s, maybe 60s.
Actually, he's in his early 60s actually.
Okay, yeah. So it's not too old. But yeah, man, Dan Marino was crazy. My dad was a big Dan Marino fan, but now I tease my dad because it's fun to tease dads when you're a grown man. But he's like, no, but he never won a Super Bowl. He never won a Super Bowl. I was like, no, shut up. Like, it's the Miami Dolphins we're talking about. Dan Marino wasn't the problem. It was the freaking organization. And we're still having the same problems today.
Yeah.
So
And I look, I think one of the things I think is one of the reasons I think we're cursed is because I think we did Don Shula dirty. He said he stepped down, but truth be
we
told, he
know
was
that's
forced
not
out
what
of there.
happened backstage. Yeah, back behind closed doors. That's like just like Bill Belichick says he walked away too. No, he got fired. Okay, I don't care what they say to the media. Bill got fired. You know,
Yeah.
just like Don Shula probably did the same. Got the same treatment. Um, but yeah, man, I mean, we've had a row of just awful coaches and awful quarterbacks, and they just keep trying to do what's the next shiny penny, you know? They're looking in
Yeah.
for the shiny penny. And it's like you got to find the diamond in the rough. And sometimes it's an older coach, right? Like we see that with the Panthers coach, right?
Hmm.
He's been around the NHL for a long time, and he's never won a Stanley Cup till last year. That was his biggest thing is that he couldn't win the big one. Well, he just won the big one, and maybe that's the route we gotta go. Maybe we gotta get an old timer. I don't know. I don't know the answer, but what I do know is Mike McDaniel's not the guy. He's, in my opinion, he's not the
Yeah.
guy. Um, and until they retool not only the roster but to the core. Like you got to get down. When I say take it down to the studs, I'm not saying the roster. The culture needs to change. The character around the building, the way they run things from up to Greer and even above him, all the way down to the janitor.
Yeah.
Everything about that organization needs to be about winning, about showing up on time, about doing your job, and if you don't do your job, someone else will do your job, and you're going to be on the street, you know. But when you can just come here and get a paycheck, show up whatever time you want, be on your phone. Hey, I'm hurt today, coach. I can't practice. Fuck that, dude. Screw that. You know,
Mhm.
like that's the thing about this. Like when you look at our especially in training camp, which irks me so much. When you look at who practiced and who's injured, all the veterans are sitting on the sideline. You
Yeah.
can't tell me all these guys are actually injured, bro. It's just
Yeah.
like the attitude.
Have you noticed though they got rid of all the older guys? You noticed that?
Well, did they get rid of them or did those guys want to leave? That's what I want to know.
Potato, potato, I guess.
But yes, they did. But that's one on one hand, good maybe. But on the other hand,
Mhm.
who's the leaders? Who's going to step up? You know, Calais
Yeah.
Campbell. He was only here for a year, but that dude was a baller. If we didn't have Calais Campbell last year, the season would have been a lot worse than it was. You
Yeah.
know,
Oh,
Zach Sealer's a dog though.
and you know what? I remember for a cup of coffee, Derek Jeter was the was a kind of like the GM of the Marlins, and I'm kind of disappointed they parted ways with him. But that's for a story for
Yeah,
another day. But I do remember watching. I was enthusiastic about the Marlins again when Derek Jeter was involved, and I
yeah,
watched a lot of his. I looked up a lot of his interviews, anything I could find on the web with Derek Jeter. And the one thing that he said that stuck out to me was the fact that he goes, before I took field, nobody knew who I was. Nobody. So at the
yeah.
end of the day, look, we of course we don't know who our leaders are, but until they take
Yeah.
the field, look, until somebody's given that opportunity, you can't.
You're right. Yeah, that's how you find the diamonds in the rough. They're in the rough for a reason. Yes, I agree with that. And I think Zach Sealer is going to be one of those guys. I think he's already is a leader now, but he's
Yeah,
going to have to take a bigger role into that. My biggest thing is we got Swiss cheese in the backfield. Our DB room is just absolutely slaughtered. I think you saw my post the other day on Twitter
yeah,
about that. Like the fact that we got an all Pro Bowl cornerback in Jalen Ramsey, which, yes, he's on his later end of his years, but he's still a solid player. He's still a top 10 cornerback. Unanimous top 10. Some would still put him in the top 5. I don't know if I'd go that hard. He kind of had a bad year last year. Not bad year, but a down year last year. But a down year for him is still top 10. That's what's crazy. And behind him, you got a bunch of either young guys or bums, right? Like the young guys being Cater Cohu and Storm Duck. I think those are solid corners that can truly grow into some solid, I mean, they're both undrafted. They can be solid starters. I don't think they'll ever be a CB1 type guy, but CB2, CB3, CB4, you need those guys. They're not bubble guys. They're making the roster, but they're not island guys. You can't put them on the island. They're not Jalen Ramsey, go follow your best receiver type guy, you know? And then you got the safety room, which who's on it? The guy we just drafted? I mean, literally, I have to look at who's on the list because I don't even know who's in our safety room other than the guy we just drafted out of Maryland. And if I don't know the guy, that means he probably a no name, Now maybe he can step up and do something. But yeah, I mean, this DB room, I feel bad for Anthony Weaver because I think, and I'll say this, and I believe this, Anthony Weaver is the best coach on this staff other than maybe Butch Berry. That might be the only one that I'd probably have to give him the edge. But even then, I would be confident with saying Anthony Weaver is the best coach. He's definitely going to be the next coach to be a head coach. Maybe not after Miami. He's probably going to get another DC job. But after that, I really don't know. You got a bunch of bump. I really think this coaching staff's not that good.
Yeah.
And I hate the shade they give to Frank Smith. Yeah, Frank Smith's not a difference maker, but he's a puppet guy, to be honest. Let's be honest what he is. McDaniel wanted a guy that he could just fill the slot with. Frank Smith doesn't have the crazy resume that you kind of need for an offensive-minded team. And I'll say this, Shake. Everyone says we've been an offensive team, and sure, we were in 23. But look at all those losses we've had. I bet you 80% of those losses we've had in the last 2 or 3 years, I'd blame the offense more than I'd blame the defense. The defense don't lose us games for the most part. Last season, they did a couple, but most of the time, the defense is standing strong. And I think Anthony Weaver, we're doing him a disservice because when he goes to his next team for an interview, I really feel bad for the guy because he's a great coach. And I don't want him to get overlooked because of the disaster that's about to unfold in 25.
Yeah.
So,
but one thing about Weaver though, if you look at, so Mike McDaniels does his press conferences Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and then I think either Tuesdays or Thursdays they get the assistants, your offensive coordinator, your special teams, and your defensive coordinator. And I look forward to Weaver's press conferences because Weaver, I like about him is he when he speaks, he has a very soothing tone, and he's clear, he's concise on what he wants to, the message he wants to convey.
Yeah. He almost, and this might be crazy to say, and I'm not saying he is Mike Tomlin. He almost kind of reminds me of a young Mike Tomlin. A little bit. He's a player's guy, but I think he lays down the law a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I like that about him, and I love that he's a D-line guy. We need D-line, and that's something that this team, and I'll tell you, since I've been a fan, since Jason Taylor and the days of Cameron Wake, our D-line and O-line has been dog shit. It's just been bad. And that's why this team focuses on picking up the flashy receiver. Tyreek Hill wasn't the first one. They picked up Brandon Marshall years ago, and a lot of people forget we got Ocho Cinco on the end of his career, but he had that DUI or domestic violence or something that came up, and he got cut. But this is, Tyreek ain't the first flashy. He's just the biggest flashy piece we've ever picked up. They didn't ever focus on the trenches. Now, I think they're changing that, but I think it's too late.
I want to give a shout out to this man right here real quick, Anthony Pierlucci, a.k.a. Lucci. So once the season starts, In the Blender goes away, and there's another show that we do, and it's called, where is it? I have it here. Where are you, son of a bitch? Where is it? There it is. Yeah, it's called The Happy Hour, man, and it's me and Lucci.
Nice.
And we pretty much drink and we talk about the up and coming Dolphin game.
Dude, that sounds fun. I gotta watch that.
Yeah. It's
I'll be there.
Man, Lucci's my dog. Look, here it is. The Happy Hour.
Nice.
See, we're all happy right there. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you, Lucci. Good to see you, man, as always.
Shake, you'd like my dad. He's not a drinker. He's been sober about 22 years, I think, 22, 23, but he's a big cigar guy. Loves a cigar, man.
Oh man, I love cigars.
Yeah. He goes down to Boca a lot with my mom, and they go down to the cigar bar down there.
I remember one time I went 13 years without drinking.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I turned 14.
That's a good one. Oh, that's a good one, Chick. I gotta use that, bro. I gotta use that.
Oh man.
By the way, my mom is watching, so hello, mother.
Hello, Mom. How you doing?
She's a nice lady.
Yes. Hey, listen, man. She raised a good. She raised a good son.
Well, I appreciate that. I definitely gave her some troubles in the later ages of my teens, but the military got that out of me, and we're good now. We're good now. I got a wife and 2 kids. Yeah, a little bit about me, backstory. I'm from West Palm, but I live in Little Rock, Arkansas. When I got out of the military, I got a job here. And I love it, man. Yeah, I just got a 4-wheeler. That's my 4-wheeler actually on the clip art. I just got that thing yesterday. And that's why we were late today, by the way. My apologies. I'm on Central Time, and I knew it was 7 o'clock, but I was thinking Central Time, not Eastern Time. And so I'm literally getting out of the mud hole today, getting a text from Shake, and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, man. I'm on my way home. I'll be there. We'll be a little late. And he's like, oh, no worries, man. We'll get this thing rolling.
Man, listen, we're having a good time, Doug. I don't care what nobody says. So let me ask you this. Let's transition to the current Dolphins. What was your favorite offseason move, would you say?
This year? Yeah. And are we talking draft 2 included?
No, let's do a free agent search, then we'll get into the draft.
Okay. Let me think here. We didn't really do much this year. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. I would say my favorite move, and maybe if I tell you, maybe you would agree with me, is not restructuring Tua's contract.
Okay, I agree with that. I do agree with that. Yeah, I'm looking up the play. Like literally, I don't even remember who we signed because it's been so little. I know we signed a guard, James Daniels. That's who it is.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of the name. I would say James Daniels is probably my favorite. Now that you bring up
gamble, listen, one thing about we complained about how Teron Armstead was good for missing 5 games.
Yeah.
And I know James Daniels doesn't have injury history.
Yeah.
But when somebody suffers that kind of injury, they're never the same again. So,
but he had Achilles, right?
Yeah, Achilles. So,
yeah,
if he does pan out, perfect. Listen, there's a reason why he signed for that low amount of money. But I think if he pans out, I think it was the best move of the offseason.
Sorry, I just saw Cap's comment. That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Good, undebatable.
I will say though, I do agree with that, Shake, but I do think science has gotten a little bit better recently with the Achilles injury. I don't think the players will be the same as they were before, just because fresh Achilles versus post-injury Achilles. Obviously, the fresh Achilles is going to be better. I hope that doesn't push him back too far. I got to look up and do some research and see when he got that injury, because that matters. A guy like that coming from, I think he came from the Steelers, right?
Yeah, he came from the Steelers. And one thing about the Steelers, every time
they run gap
Joey
scheme,
Porter, you look at Joey Porter, Wallace.
Yeah.
Every time we got a player from the Steelers, it never worked out in our favor for some reason.
Well, they run a different scheme there, and I bet you he's having a blast in Miami just because the Steelers run things how it should be run, how organization. There's a reason. I don't care what they've done in the playoffs. When you have Kenny Pickett as your quarterback and you're winning 9 games a season, that's something to brag about. Yeah. This man hasn't had a quarterback since Ben Roethlisberger, and when Big Ben was in the league towards the end of the year, this dude could only throw about 8 yards max. They were just doing out routes every play. I watched the Steelers. I like the Steelers. But anyways, yeah, James Daniels, if he doesn't play in training camp, I'm going to say this. If he doesn't play in training camp with the team, it's not going to be a good season for him because he needs, when you're playing outside zone schemes, you need to have a lot of synergy with your other offensive linemen. You need to be able to see the field and be in this element. Like the O-line is extremely important in a West Coast offense, extremely important. And moving off the ball, right? Because a lot of things are, off the ball, moving, pushing past the line of scrimmage. And everyone knows if you go a mile past the line of scrimmage and it's a pass, that's an ineligible man downfield, and that's something that we've run into the past. But yeah, James Daniels, probably my favorite. I'd say over to the draft. My favorite draft pick has to be Kenneth Grant or Ollie Gordon. I really like Ollie Gordon. I think he's a big back that people say he ran too much. They were saying that the other day. That's BS, bro. Jonty got picked like pick 7 or 8. And that man, go look at his stats. He was running 300 times a season, and he going to be fine, right? What you have to worry about when it comes to tread on a tire with a running back, it's the second contract. It's not the rookie one. You have to worry about it with the second contract. And that's why a lot of these running backs, the market for them is terrible because all the tread's gone by the second contract. When they're up for the contract, they don't want to pay them 20 mil a year, So yeah, I'd say that's probably my two. And then I got to give you a sleeper, Shake.
Okay.
Sleeper is a wide receiver out of Arkansas. I think his name's Anderson. Let me look. Armstrong. I'm sorry, Armstrong. And by the way, he's out of Arkansas, and there's only Arkansas fans here. By the way, big college town here. All Arkansas fans. This guy's a stud. I don't know how he went undrafted. It has to have been a deep draft. I think it was a deep draft, but I don't know how he went undrafted because he was the leader of receptions and receiving yards last year in the SEC, which we all know produces the best wide receivers. You name a wide receiver that's a big dog in the league, he probably came from the SEC. So he led that. He's a big body receiver, which we need. He's an undrafted free agent, which it's kind of funny. Greer's really good with picking up undrafted free agents. I always thought Preston Williams was a pretty good hit, but he just never couldn't get past injuries, whatever, right? We've had some great players come through here that have been undrafted free agents. So, I would say that's my sleeper pick.
Okay, so let me ask you. All right, on the board, I don't know if you're familiar, but if you were the GM,
yeah,
and we had number 13, Casa Nostra, dímelo. By the way, Casa Nostra is another good dude that's constantly. Nice. I love this dude. Whether I'm on the Fins tailgate or here, this guy is another guy who supports the show. And
hell yeah, thanks for coming
I'm
by. I'm
always gonna appreciate that. But Cosa Nostra, means it's a Sicilian mob, means our stuff. And I'm thinking about now, in Spanish, it means Cosa Nuestra, which is our stuff. But in Italy, one thing about Italian is they're very similar to Spanish. But Cosa Nostra in Spanish would be
beautiful language, by the way, Italian.
You know what I'm saying? But it's I love this dude. And the thing about him is which he hates when they bash Tua, because you know what, that he is our quarterback, and I don't blame him for that.
Yeah. I like Tua. Are we gonna talk about that? We got to bring up Tua at some point. This is a Dolphins show.
We'll talk about. Okay. But who would you? All right, at the 13th November, who would you have drafted with all the players on the board?
I'm gonna say this. I'm going to say who I wasn't going to draft, Tyler Warren. I hate that people – I don't even know if he was there. Tyler Warren. I hate people talking about a tight end in the first round, bro. I will say, I'm going to be honest, I didn't do a ton of research on this year's class. I didn't think it was very top-heavy from what I heard. From people I trust that I watch. They were saying there's about 15 to 17 first-round grades, right? So only 15 to 17 players that were first-rounders. Me personally – I would have traded back at 13. there wasn't anyone that I loved, and that Michigan guy is who I wanted, right? That was his name, right? Will Johnson, the Michigan cornerback.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted that Michigan quarterback. I don't know why I can't think of his name right now. I think it's Will Johnson.
Mm.
This is gonna bug me, Shake. I'm sorry.
You talking about the Ohio State quarterback, Will Howard?
No. Yeah, it is Will Johnson. It's the cornerback out of Michigan.
Oh, corner. Yeah, he
Yeah.
fell. He fell. Seattle took him because of the.
Yeah, like the second.
So
Or,
what
yeah,
happened was apparently he has
had a
his
knee
knees
issue.
are kind of like Jay Ajayi's.
Yeah. So I heard, I was seeing, and they were talking about Adam Scheffler was talking about it, Mel Kiper was talking about it. Will Johnson was sliding. He was sliding, right? And people wanted to move up. I would have pushed back and try to get Will Johnson the end of the first round. Now, obviously, I'm not an NFL GM, so that would have been a terrible thing because he would have been up there in the second round. But I don't hate the Kenneth Grant pick. What I wanted them to draft either cornerback or D line. I felt like that was the two biggest needs because at 13, you're not getting a top O lineman. They're just gone. All the top OTs, they go in the top 5, top 8, and all the stragglers are there at 13. So unless there's a guy you love, but after they picked Kenneth Grant, I called my Michigan buddy, right? Carl's name. I was like, Carl, tell me about this guy. He's like, you got an absolute stud, absolute beast, bro. Started looking at his tape. I love that pick. That has to be one of my favorite picks in a couple years, right? Now, This is my thing with drafts. I don't rate the draft until 3 or 4 years after the draft, right? You can give grades all you want. It's fun to talk about. I mean, there's nothing to talk about. It's freaking May, right? Might as well talk about the draft. I really like that pick, man. We'll see in a couple years. And this is the thing with rookies. I want rookies to play, but I'm not like putting too much, in on if they're good or bad the first year. I don't care. If you're really good, that's awesome. Keep it up and don't have a sophomore slump. If you're bad, that's fine. Keep learning, right? But you need to play these rookies. Taking Jalen Wright out of the game last season, every time he'd have a 1-yard gain, just like the other running backs were, I showed how incompetent this coaching staff is because those rookies, we were literally losing games and taking him out of the game. And I'm like, dude, we're down 15, 16 point, whatever it is, and it's like, yeah, man, I like that pick though. I'm sorry. That was real long winded. I like that pick a lot.
Hey, listen, dude, man, listen, we like long answers here. You know what I'm saying?
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, man. So let's talk about Tua, man. One thing about, look, I think, in my opinion, I know, look, when there's a good Tua joke, I'm gonna joke with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he's our quarterback, and I think that he's put up. Look, a lot of teams say, "Well, he only beats the bad teams." Well, guess what? A trash quarterback can't even beat the bad teams. You look at your Daniel Jones, you look at Kenny Pickett, you look at all these other quarterbacks that were first rounders. They can't even Zach Wilson couldn't even beat the bad teams. So if he can't beat the good teams, they're good. They're good teams for a reason. And I think beating good teams comes with time, learning defense, watching defenses and things like that. I think the real issue is him health wise, and the coach, and the one thing I've always wanted for him to do, is take a little bit more charge of the offense. Say, look, Mike McDaniel, I like the play call you see, but you know what? Unfortunately, the defense that I currently see, this offense isn't going to work. Let me move to something else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Instead of just trying to appease the coach, I think that's the one thing I've always said is that he needs to take more command of this offense.
Yeah. Yeah, this is my thing on Tua. I've always been a fan of Tua since the day we drafted him. I really liked him out of Alabama. I was always concerned about that hip, though, and his size. I was always concerned about that. No one was concerned about the concussions just because that wasn't a thing until a year or two ago, right? But he's always had soft tissue issues,
Yeah.
right? He's always had them since high school. He's had them. I think literally, I saw a stat the other day since college and high school, or college and professional combined, Tua has only had one season in his whole football career from collegiate to pro where he's been healthy. Listen, I'll say this. I love Tua. I got a Tua jersey. I'm a big Tua supporter.
Yeah, me
But
too.
this is the thing. This is the thing about it. You got to either shit or get off the can, bro.
Yeah.
Like your best ability is availability, and that's it. I agree with you, Shake. He can beat the bad teams, right? and that's not the standard, by the way, right? We
Yeah.
need to beat the bad teams, right? But also we also have to say, I've you know this, I've only known bad Dolphins teams, right? And we've never used to beat the bad teams. We'd get roasted by the bad teams, you
Yeah.
know? And I have seen him beat some good teams. He just doesn't do it consistently. That's the thing about Tua, is he does not have the health to be in this league. I think he should retire. That's truly my statement.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not consistent. He does not show up consistently when we play the Buffalo Bills of the world, the Ravens, the Chiefs, the big dogs of the AFC, right? Even the Packers, that's a good team, right?
Yep. Correct.
We didn't show up that game. We just weren't even there, right? So, but who also doesn't show up when Tua doesn't show up? The rest of the team, okay? So it's not just Tua. Yes, you need to, he's the quarterback. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. You have to, be accountable for that. But so is the other team. Tyreek Hill's getting 30 mil, dropping balls left and right,
Yeah.
fumbling against the Chiefs on a 3rd and short when we need the first down. McDaniel calling bubble screens every other play, and we're 1 in inches, we're 3rd in inches, and he's freaking throwing the ball. That's besides the point. My thing on Tua is he's a franchise quarterback when he's healthy, but he's not. So he's not a franchise quarterback. Okay. I love that they did not restructure his contract, and I don't think they should touch that contract unless they're going to get money back and no years is going to get added, because they do not need to be adding any more years. If anything,
Yeah.
they need to front load all that cap to now so they could cut him next year when the new head coach and GM is here. But we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
If he could stay healthy, he's the guy, but he can't. Um, I think he should have played the 5th-year option. And we said this at the Fins tailgate all the time. I said this. Cap said this. Multiple people said this. He should have played the 5th-year option. If he couldn't stay healthy, he's gone. They didn't do that. They paid him, and that's what's going on. I love Tua. This is the thing. Whoever's QB1 on Sunday, I'm supporting that guy. The problem is today ain't Sunday. Today's not Sunday. I'll support Tua, and I think I will say this too. That's what I was trying to get back to. He's the best option we have, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think the Dolphins need to position themselves where they can set up for the next guy, whether that be train up Quinn Ewers. He's a stud. He just can't stay healthy either, right? Whether that is set yourself up for a top 5 pick, which we will be next year, by the way. See who's out there on free agency. Whatever it is, they need to be preparing themselves to move off of Tua. And it might not even be this regime. It probably won't be, because Greer's tied to the hip with him. He just is. When Tua goes, Greer most likely is gone. And but let's face the facts. Is he a top 15 quarterback? Yes. Can he win you 500 plus games? Yes, he can, when healthy.
Yeah.
Who else is available? The Zach Wilsons and the Jameis Winstons. I love Jameis Winston, but he's a backup guy. You have to go with him. For this season, you just have to. And nobody really was available. Like last year, I talked about it. There was a lot of backup quarterbacks last offseason that were available that would have helped us last year. And they didn't pick up any of the guys. They went with Skyler, and, we saw how that went. This year, they picked up an all right backup. Zach Wilson, not a big fan of that. I would have rather Jameis Winston, to be honest. I would have rather call in Daniel Jones and see what they want for him or whatever. But yeah, I think you have to go with Tua this season. It's too late. We're too late into it.
It's too late to apologize. What's up, Crip? Hey. Speaking of my,
what up, Crip? What up, Crypto?
Hey, this is the best co-host a man can. No, well, him too, but this is the best co-host a man could ask for, man. Your fellow, what you call it? Traffic controller.
Air traffic controller.
That's my dog right there, Crypto, man.
I'm talking crazy talk. Hey, Talk, you gonna get this business next Tuesday or Thursday whenever you do your show. I'm gonna be in that chat room. Don't you worry. But yeah, man, I like
Crypto's the GOAT, by the way. I just want y'all to know.
I love Crypto. Crypto's a dog. My favorite thing about Crypto is when you get him amped up, because most of the time he's calm, but he gets amped up, and you gotta say, "Turn up, Crypto," and that's the best part, because he will turn up if you tell him to.
One thing about Crypto is he could like his voice. He's not even yelling, and he's louder than most people.
He's got a deep voice. Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's a loud talker.
You don't hear either, bro. When he starts talking,
yelling, but no, he's not yelling. He's just talking loud. The dude.
But when he talking loud, he don't have ears no more, bro. It's so funny. I love it, bro. I love Crypto. Crypto actually one of my favorite people I've met on YouTube. I gotta say that. Crypto,
I'm gonna tell you this: if it wasn't for Crypto, there'd be no Insomnia. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Insomnia is definitely a big reason why I love doing Insomnia is because of Crypto.
Yeah. And Tonk, I'm just going to say this to you, Tonk. I'm talking to you, big dog. I was saying since week 4 of last season, we need Mike Vrabel. And I knew the Patriots were going to pick him up. And we made a big mistake by not going to get him. And I'm going to say it right now. The Patriots, I'm not a Patriots fan. Fuck the Patriots. The Patriots will be better than the Dolphins in 2025, whatever year it is. Okay? Amen, Crypto. But yeah. Tua's the guy for this season. You go all on him. I like what they're doing because they're building the O-line. We got a solid O-line. I'm going to say this. We have a solid starting O-line right now. I'm not going to say it's good or great. I think it's solid. I think it's something to work with. The depth scares me. Scares me a lot, actually. But I think going in with you got on the tackles – Patrick Paul, I love Patrick Paul. He's got so many attributes, so much size. But we got to see because he's basically a rookie because he didn't really get any reps last year. He's basically a rookie. This is his rookie year this year. Unless you play and start often, it's like a rookie year on steroids, I guess, because he has some experience. Austin Jackson coming back. He's healthy, right? Liam Eichenberg, I don't know why he's on this roster. I don't know why this team loves players. Listen, I'll say this about McDaniel too. McDaniel and Liam are great guys, honest guys. I'd probably have a beer with those guys. Well, not McDaniel. I think he's sober, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
nice guys, but they're not what we need to win games, right?
No,
you got James Daniel. You got Brewer at center. And did we pick? Who's our other guard?
It's not Eichenberg, but the Samoan dude.
Yeah, that guy we just picked up. So hopefully he takes the starting job. I like Isaiah Wynn.
Ain't no hope he will take that starting job.
You think so? I hope so.
I know so.
Well, they got a love for Liam that I don't understand. They got a love for this guy.
Look, Liam. Let's face it. When you look at any team, right? You out there, any team out, you name any team out there. And when you talk about offensive line depth from between starter and backup, there's a big drop off. There's no small drop off. There's big drop off. And with a guy like Eichenberg, I know people like to shit on him, but this is why I don't shit on him. I support everybody on this team because we have no other choice. But being the fact that the reason I like Eichenberg as a backup is because he plays all 5 positions. So at the end of the day, he is a backup that, number one, is familiar with the system. He's been with the system very long. Yeah. And number 2, could play all 5 positions as a backup.
I'm not saying as a starter. At center, bro. He wasn't that bad at center.
Yeah, so as a backup, he is fine. But if we're talking starters, that's when we start. That's when we start raising the flags and start ringing the alarms.
The thing about Eichenberg, though, is he just has those head scratchers that are like, what? bro. Well, he'll be like in a full split backwards with his head behind him is back, and it's like, yeah, I think what they're doing is good. I like the way they're moving, the progress they're making. It's just too late. Greer, you should have done this with Flores, and we don't have to bring up Flores. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just saying you should have been doing this back in 2019 and 2020. Why are we trying to build the trenches in 25?
Yeah.
This is, dude, Shake. This is the year where the window's closing, right? When it comes to, a rebuild, right? The 24 to 25 and 26, those are your windows, right? Of you're going to go get a bowl. I don't even think we're going to make the playoffs.
Listen, when people say our Super Bowl window, I could picture Debo going, "What Super Bowl window?"
Yeah, basically, dude. Because you can't talk to me about a damn Super Bowl unless you win a playoff game. And
playoffs.
Except playoffs. We talking about playoffs? Yeah. And you can't get to the Super Bowl without winning a playoff game. But not just that. This team cannot win a playoff game unless it's home, and I'll say it will never be home while we are whatever it is with the Buffalo Bills, until they can learn to consistently beat the Bills. Bills own this division, and maybe the Patriots will knock them off in a couple years because I like what they're doing up there. But the Bills will always own us until this team learns to be tough. Like, I was watching the Panthers the other night, Shake.
Yeah,
they're down 3 scores going into the third inning, right?
Well,
I know what the Dolphins.
Real quick, please. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
But I agree with you because look, I remember for a long time the Panthers were owned by the Lightning until they got tough. Remember, Panthers were a finesse team, and then they got Kachuk. Then they got these other players. Yeah. That's when they started being the Lightning.
Dudes but out there.
For a long time, the Lightning were. I mean, the Panthers were the Lightning's bitch for a long time.
Yeah, no, totally agree. I grew up being a Panthers fan. We used to go with my youth group to the games, and the whole run the last couple of years has really rejuvenated that fandom. But anyways, my whole point of bringing them up is yes, they lost the game. That's fine. You lose some away games in the Stanley Cup playoffs. It happens. But they're down by 3, and they're fighting back. They're coming back. They're playing real clean hockey, right? They're hitting them. They're passing. Dude, I was so confused why we lost that game, just because there was so much control in that game where we were just doing so well, and then we just have one bad play, right? But the whole time, you saw on their faces, we're going to come back and we're going to win this game. Even though they didn't win the game, I saw a toughness in that Florida Panthers team I've never seen in the Miami Dolphins. And until you can have even 50% the toughness the Florida Panthers have and what they show up even in away games, you'll never have a playoff winning Miami Dolphins team. It's just not going to happen. They don't play well in the cold. They're all in freaking hoodies and thermals and got Vaseline on. Yeah, Zach Sealer said he didn't have a shirt on, bro. He was covered in Vaseline, okay? He was covered in Vaseline, which, by the way, is a protectant. It's actually pretty good in the cold. But anyways, I don't think Tua, when I say this, it's not just Tua. I don't think Tua and the Miami Dolphins are going to be able to get over that playoff drought because they lack toughness. I mean, when your main player, Tua, can't stay healthy, and your main defensive player, Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips, you can't say Jalen Ramsey. He stays healthy, but you can't say him because they're trying to kick him out of town, right?
Yeah.
The only dogs on our defense last year are gone, bro. You can say what you want about Holland. I've seen that boy lay some wood. I've seen him lay some wood. Yeah, he's kind of soft and whatever. He didn't like Fangio and then whatever. That's fine. But you really, when you look at this team, I don't see any dogs. I don't see any guys that are going to just hit a dude because they want to hit a dude, just because they feel like it. I don't see any of those guys. I don't see any guys that, I'm not saying they have the talent, that have the attitude and the mentality that Zach Thomas had. I don't see any of those guys. Those guys are long gone. And I don't see him on offense either, by the way. Achane is the only player on this team that I believe gives 100% effort, 100% of the time. And in my opinion, he's the best football player on the team. I'm not saying he's the best player. I'm saying when it comes to a football player that has all the attributes and works hard and shows up and gives his most effort, A-Chain's the only player. You can't say it's Tyreek Hill. Yeah, he's the most talented. He's got the best stats, but he ain't the best football player. You know? And he can't even freaking figure out his home life, which is fine. You know, people struggle, people go through some hard times, but he's just always in the news for something. But that's a whole nother thing.
So, all right, let me. I have a couple of segments, right? And then we'll move you on your way, man. And then once again, I appreciate you for giving me this time.
Dude, thanks for having me. This is fun. I love this kind of stuff.
So, on the spot questions, all right?
Yeah.
Ready?
Yep.
All right. The Miami Dolphins fight song. Do you think it's outdated, or do you think we need to revamp it? What do you think?
I like it. I love it, man. Yeah, there's something nostalgic about it. I remember hearing it in the stadium growing up, and I say keep it just because there's something nostalgic about it, and that's one thing that this Dolphins thing, this organization, we don't keep stuff that used to work back in the day. Like, why do we got like this logo we got? I know we didn't win when we had it. We should have that logo or the old logo. What the hell is this stupid whale we got?
So I have a question real quick.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead. Let me see. Okay, can you hear me, right?
Yeah, I got you.
Look at the screen. Look at the screen now. Out of all these six logos, which one is your favorite?
97 to 2012, just because I was born in 98, right? And so that's my era. And I got a location on my arm. I don't know if my mom's still here, but I'm getting a tattoo, that logo tattooed on me eventually. I don't know when, but it's going to happen. I love that logo. But I think honestly though, that's my favorite logo, but I think the best logo for the Miami Dolphins would be the throwback. What do you like?
No problem, Ali. Hey, by the way, Ali, please put the your link in the chat, please. 4th and 10 they start their own college channel, which I am subscribed. So yeah, make sure that you subscribe to 4th and 10 University, man. Him and Mike on the mic. They both were in the blender too. Great guests. Another, by the way, a fellow Air Force, veteran.
Oh yeah, Ali. What up, Ali?
So appreciate you, Ali, for coming in here, man. So all right, here we go. Another one. According to David Hyde, he was on the All Dolphins Talk with Alan Poupard, right?
I like David Hyde, yeah.
Yeah.
I follow him on Twitter.
Yeah, and he said that when they brought in the two new franchises, which was Panthers and the Jaguars, they had the option to move to the AFC South. Would you have moved to the AFC South, or do you want to keep the AFC East rivalries?
No. Listen, anybody that says that, and Shake, I'm sorry if you're in that pool, it's soft, bro. It's soft. The South has always been bad. I don't want to be in that trash division. Sure, it might make you a better record, but you're not a better team. Just because you have a better record don't make you a better team.
Yeah.
I love the history with our division. I like the history of the 90s, which I know I wasn't alive, but going back, the beef that the Dolphins and the Bills had, and I know growing up, I remember actually a game I went to. Game.
Costa Nostra agrees with you with the logos, by the way.
Yeah, he's on point right there. I remember going to a Jets game, and I was with my mom, and we were walking out, and there was just a fight everywhere, bro. And there's just something about that, right? Like, I know it's terrible that they're fighting over something stupid like a football game, but it was just like there's something about that rivalry. And like, it's my good friend Ben, the one that went to NYU, that did that report I was telling you about.
Yeah.
Every Dolphins game, every time we play the Jets, I text him as like, you're enemy number one for the day. And then after the game, I say firm handshakes, we're friends again. You know, that's just something funny that we do. But yeah, no, I would stay in the East. There's too much history. I like that we go up in the cold and that they come down here because it's just as much as a problem for them as it is for us, you know?
By the way, one of my frequent guests, and he's going to be on here next year again.
Yeah.
He confirmed it. Is OJ McDuffie.
Wow.
OJ McDuffie was on. You should. You've seen the channel. Please, if you want, watch the show.
Oh,
he said he would have moved to the South because of because of the climate. It's because of the climates. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean it makes more sense.
It's like the SEC. South. You know what I'm saying? SEC.
Yes.
They stay in the South. You got the Big Ten. They stay in relatively close
north
to where they are. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and the thing is, we are the most southern team. We're literally in Miami. It makes sense to be in the South. And you're right. I mean, it's great climate. And, you got a dome over in Houston. Tennessee's beautiful weather. Nashville's like pretty much due east for me. And it gets cold there, but not too bad. Then you got the Jaguars, right?
And we'll take the place of the Colts, obviously.
Okay, and then the Colts, but it's indoor, you know.
Yeah, but we wouldn't be. I'm saying we would be the Colts instead of the Colts. You know what I'm saying? So
gotcha. And it makes more sense for the Colts to be in the East. And now it all makes more sense. But no, I like the rivalries. I love hating the Bills.
Actually,
there's something about hating the Bills.
The Colts will be better in the North, and then the Ravens will be in the East.
Yeah, but see, that's another one. The Ravens rivalry with the Steelers and the Browns, like there's just something about that. Like, don't take those rivalries away, man.
Yeah,
I love those rivalries. So it's like watching a Ravens Steelers game, man, that's fun. That's fun.
Oh man. No, so
Michael K, we're discussing it because it's May and there's literally nothing to discuss, so we might as well discuss something. That's why. And I think it's more just Shake's trying to get my opinion on things, you know?
Yeah. Listen, you ever been to New York?
I have, yes.
Remember how they told you not to pay attention to the crazy guy talking in the subway?
Yeah, I have talked to people in the subway, but they weren't crazy. Try to avoid them.
Yeah. Avoid the crazy. That's Michael K in our chat section.
That's true, actually. You're right. That he is, dude. Yeah, just like the homeless guy that's begging for money and saying whatever.
No, I'm just talking with you. Listen,
no, he's cool. I like Michael K.
And sometimes it doesn't come off this way, but I really do love Michael K. and I appreciate him all the
Yeah, I mean, he's always here. He's always here, and he's always supporting, even though he's trolling us.
Too, but
he's always here, and him being here is supporting us. You know?
Yeah. But this ain't trash talking time. This is, you know what I'm saying? When we do happy hour, I will trash talk him till the cows come home.
Roger that.
Same thing with drive time and things like that. But no. Shout out to by the way, shout out to my man Crazy Dolphin. What's up, Mr. Polk? Another member of the Finn's Tailgate.
I know. Everyone says that, Crazy Dolphin. Everyone says it.
Well, unfortunately, Michael K., it's not you that brings the comedy, unfortunately. But hey, listen, keep trying, my good friend. Keep trying.
Such a good profile pic.
He gets an A for effort.
Yeah.
But anyway, anyhow, and last but not least, if you had to do 3 draft do-overs, is this something that obviously is not going to happen?
Yes.
Spoiler alert. What would they be if you had to do 3 draft?
Yes, I got 2 so far. I got to think about the third. Okay. The first one is kind of impossible, and I'm pretty sure they were trying to do it. I would have gave a blank check to the Bengals. I literally would have, and this is why I'll never be a GM. I would have called them. I said, "How many first-round picks you want?" Okay, they're yours, and I would have got Joe Burrow. I love Joe Burrow. I listen. I like Joe Burrow more than Tua. I'll say it right now. I am a die-hard Joe Burrow fan. I love that quarterback, And listen, I'll always support Tua. He's our QB1. But he was kind of like Joe Burrow was kind of like that girl that got away, and I just settled down with Tua. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so that was the one. Now I know he wasn't there on the board, but what I'm saying is, I literally, if you
I would have got. To be honest with you, I would have got Jordan Love. Jordan Love would have been.
I like Jordan Love. I didn't like him that much at the time. I wanted to trade back for him, but if we were going to go that route, but yes, I would have given, literally, if you said 6 first-round picks, I would have given it, because that's how convinced I was on how much of a franchise guy Joe Burrow was. And I still think he is. I think he's a top 3 quarterback. I think it's Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, and Josh Allen. Those are my top 3. Lamar Jackson's probably, I would go top 4. Put Lamar Jackson in there. But anyways, yeah. So the 201, I would say the same draft, I believe. I would have picked up Jonathan Taylor over Noah Igbenogany. I scratched my head at that Noah pick. Hey, I didn't
Noah's
get
Ark,
it.
Baby, Noah's Ark. I was the president of Noah's Ark. Come on.
I know. I remember that. No,
but I agree with you. I agree with you 100%.
Yes.
Listen, if we could do a do-over, Tristan Wirfs, right? Tristan Wirfs.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson. Then with the 26th pick, because we want to draft up with Green Bay, because Green Bay got Jordan Love, Justin Jefferson, and
we'd have a different franchise.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Love, and Tristan Wirfs.
Yeah, and honestly, I gotta put the last one. Probably.
Sean, by the way, Sean from Red Wine Bills. Now that's a good dude too. But go
probably
ahead.
TJ Watt, I would probably say. You gotta get.
Over Charles Harris? Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. TJ Watt's a dog, dude. That boy's mean, bro. That dude's mean. Like, I don't think people realize, a lot of people do realize this. I don't think Dolphin fans realize how much of a dog TJ Watt is. I think he might be, now, I think he might have potential to beat JJ Watt. I mean, this guy's he played like 13 or 14 games one season and had 23 sacks in less games.
Hey, want to hear something that blow your mind? When TJ Watt is when TJ Watt is not on the field, the Steelers have a losing record with him not.
I believe it. I totally believe it. Like he's one of those guys. He's a blue collar guy. He's one of these guys that likes to bring his lunch. He don't go to lunch. He brings his lunch to work kind of guy, you know? Mm-hmm. And I just like his motor. I like he don't take plays off. You know, he's got a great attitude. And he's not a flashy player. And I really like defensive endmen. And it might be because of Jason Taylor, but a lot of DNs, it's like they're the wide receivers of the defense without the flash, you know? Right? Like the quarterback's got flash, you know, Sauce Gardner, he's wearing a grill and he's got a chain and all that. You know, he's doing interviews and all that. The DNs of the world, bro, they out there getting it.
Gets away with so many PIs, it's not even funny.
Oh, it's so crazy, dude. He's talented, but yes, he's not as talented as they're telling you he is. But yeah, like Max Crosby, that boy's nasty with it. You know, Mason Garrett. Like all these guys, there's so many great defensive endmen out there that are just like, and they're just freak athletes too. The DN finds freak athletes that are just huge men. Trey Hendrickson out of Cincinnati, that guy's a mammoth. He is huge, you know. But yeah, I would say TJ Watt. I'd probably put that. No, I'll put Joe Burrow number 1, TJ Watt number 2. And Jonathan Taylor number 3. I love some Jonathan Taylor.
Okay, so, yeah. Jonathan Taylor. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right. All right, here we go. Last one more segment. We got 2 more segments.
Perfect. Okay. Take your time, man. I'm having a great time. Seriously.
Yeah, for sure. So is my man Crypto here.
Hell yeah.
All right. So we'll I'm gonna do 5 categories instead of 3. I'm gonna this is an award ceremony, okay?
All right.
So what you would do is I forgot. Let me see.
I like that shirt, by the way. That's such a Cuban shirt.
I used to do a sports coat.
Yeah.
With a whatever, but it got too hot. So
no, I like that look way more than a sports coat, bro. That's a perfect Cuban man's shirt right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta embrace my heritage.
Yeah.
So we'll do all right. So we'll do 5 categories.
Okay.
And then we'll do the Miami Dolphins Mount Rushmore. All right.
Okay. I like that.
So let's shuffle this up. Give me a number between 1 through 10.
7.
7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. Now there's only one caveat now. Before you can't use the same player twice. So if you name one player, you can't use them anymore.
Oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna do good on this, but well, let's go.
Hey, listen, man. And if you need to pass. But before we start, this segment is being brought to you by.
What's up, y'all? This is Chef Jew. Looking for a great chef for your next catering party, private party, office party, etc. with welcome watering meals and desserts. Let Chef Jew Catering and Sweet Treats take care of it for you at an affordable price. Call me at 786-804-8096. Also, reach me at chefjewcatering@gmail.com. Direct message on Facebook and Instagram at Chef Juice Catering. Chef Juice Catering and Sweet Treats. Food with a passion. We do it all.
All right.
Hey, and one thing I'd like to say, one thing about that shake, about that ad. Go support your local guys. Please go support your local businesses and your local guys. And seriously, because it really changes a lot. It changes the community. We got to get away from this big box stuff, man. If you have the money, go to a butcher. Go find somebody that's local and go invest in the community. Man, that's all I got, Shake. I like getting my business.
You're kind of like Tonk with sustainability, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I like to go local. It's more expensive. It is. But you get better customer service and you're actually helping the community and the that's a family, you know? So anyways, I'm sorry, Shake.
No. Please. I listen, I 100% approve that message.
Yes. Amen.
You know what I mean? You know, so all right, I'm giving you 6 categories. Fuck it.
Okay.
All right. In the first category, your favorite all-time Dolphins free agent.
All-time free agent?
If you can't think, just let me know. I'll switch categories.
Does Reggie Bush count?
Yep, Reggie Bush.
Reggie Bush.
All right. And your favorite the offense, your award for offensive lineman, all-time offensive lineman.
All time? And does this affect the Mount Rushmore?
No. Whole Foods. Look at Whole Foods.
I gotta go with Pouncey. I know he's not the greatest all time, but I gotta go with Pouncey.
Amen.
Amen.
I gotta find the fucking pin. The thing I hate about this is I gotta move this up because every time I move my chair back, it knocks out the pin. But anyway, all right.
Yeah, I'd have to go with Pouncey.
No doubt.
Is that a good one?
Is that a good one? Whole Foods. Crypto says
hashtag Whole Foods. That's a box store, Crypto. What the heck?
Tight end. And the award for tight end goes to
like all-time tight end or
all-time tight end.
I gotta think of this one. I'm gonna be honest. I know
Irv Smith, right? No, it's playing. I know for Miss Finn's it's gonna be Mike Gesicki, but that's
I do like Mike Gesicki, but that's not my go-to. I'm gonna be honest, man. I watched Jonnu Smith back in Tennessee with the Titans and with Vrabel, and I really liked him. Like I had him in fantasy. Even when he wasn't good, I would play him just because I knew he had something in him. And then, he went around the league. He played for the Patriots. I got to go with Jonnu Smith just because I can't think of one in later days.
Mr.
And
Pope,
I really like Jonnu
Smith. Sniffing Elmer's glue? That's not good.
I really like
Just
Jonnu
saying.
Smith. I've been watching him a while. Like, I knew about Jonnu Smith like 5-6 years ago. Like, I really like
You know, he
some
played for
Jonnu
the
Smith.
Patriots too. He went to the Patriots.
He did, yeah.
That's
After the
tough.
Titans, he went there. And I think they're using him well. That's one of those players that they're actually really using him well.
Okay. So you say Jonnu Smith is your tight end?
Yes, sir.
All right. All-time linebacker.
Zach Thomas. That's an easy one.
Favorite Miami Dolphins trade?
Man, that's a tough one. Can you remind me some older ones that I might know?
Remember we were talking Ricky Run. I'm just saying.
Wait, did we trade Ricky for Ricky?
Yeah, we traded.
Oh, I got to go with that one. I got to go with Ricky.
And
wait, who did we get him? Who did we get Ricky from?
We traded a 2 first-round pick. It was a conditional first-round pick. It was a conditional second, but it turned into a first.
Okay, man. Why did I forget that?
And last but not least, offensive.
Oh,
MVP.
we traded picks for him, right?
Yeah, we traded picks for him.
Like we moved up. Okay. Anyways, keep going.
No, we didn't get him draft. We traded for Orleans.
Gotcha. The Saints.
Yeah, Ricky Williams.
Yeah,
and last but not least, offensive MVP.
This last season?
Mm-hmm.
Or all time? This last season, right?
No, all time.
Okay, well, I can't use Ricky Williams.
Raphael Court.
Jeff Wilson Jr. That's funny. That's actually funny. That's really fucking funny. Which I love me some Jeff Wilson, to be honest. I don't think he was ever used enough. All time, you got to go Dan Marino.
Dan Marino? Okay.
Yeah, all time, you got to go Dan Marino.
All right, now last but not least, we'll hang out backstage. I'm gonna I'll send Crypto the link so we could chat it up.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
And would be your Miami Dolphins Mount Rushmore. I mean, this is your first time. So, what is your Miami Dolphins Mount Rushmore?
Okay.
And by the way, before you answer, it could be player, coach, janitor.
Can be
doesn't
coach?
matter.
Oh, okay.
Owner,
so you got to put
whatever you want.
Number one, you got to put Dan Marino up there. Okay. Any Mount Rushmore that for the Miami Dolphins that doesn't have Dan Marino, you're just not a Miami Dolphins fan. I mean, he is the greatest Miami Dolphin player to ever live and will ever live. There's no one that's going to meet what Dan Marino did for the Miami Dolphins. He made us a world-renowned team. We're a smaller market team now, but we used to be talked about like the Cowboys were talked about, back in Dan Marino's day. So it's got to be Dan Marino. I don't think everyone would put this next guy on there, but I have to just because of my childhood. Ricky Williams. I love me some Ricky Williams, dude. That's why I was upset that I forgot that we traded for him. But anyways, I was I was probably 4 years old.
I was like, hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Amen. Number 3, Mount Rushmore. Can we do just players, or we could do coaches too?
Whatever you want to, man. Coaches, owners, cafeteria staff, if you know any.
You got to put Don Shula, man. Most winning coach in NFL
and
history.
Dave Wanstead will be second, right? No, just playing.
It's funny. My father-in-law.
Listen, I say what you want, but Dave Wanstead had a better mustache than Don Shula. I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah, but anyway, so I put Dan Marino, Ricky Williams, and Don Shula because of the winnings, how many wins he's had. And I'm glad Bill Belichick, I actually want Bill Belichick to do well with North Carolina. I'm glad he's gone, though, so he can't break that record because I was worried he was. And this last one's tough, real tough for me, but it's only between 2 players. And this is my Mount Rushmore. Your Mount Rushmore can be different. But it's got to be Zach Thomas or Jason Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
Because, man, that's such a tough one, man, because those 2s are dogs. If I didn't have Don Shula up there, like if it was only players, that's who the other 2 would be.
Hey,
because I'm a shorter guy. I'm not a big tall guy. I'm like 5'9". I got to go with Zach Thomas, just because of his energy on the field. And actually, when I played football, they used to call me Mighty Mouse because I was the smallest guy in the field. This is Pee Wee, smallest guy in the field, but I hit the hardest, bro. I hit the hardest.
Hey, Cosa Nostra, I don't know if you ever did this exercise, and I know Raphael, he was in the blender, he did it. I'm curious now that I see you still here. What is your Miami Dolphin? What would your Miami Dolphins Mount Rushmore? Please put it in the chat. I would definitely love to get your input on what would your Miami Dolphins Mount Rushmore. This guy, he knows about. You can tell he's old school when it comes to the Miami Dolphins, and he knows what he's talking about. So I would definitely love to hear your Mount Rushmore. If maybe you put it down, I didn't see it, but if you can take a moment, please let me know what it is. I'll appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, real quick, Shake, real quick.
Yes,
I gotta give a shout out to my brother. I guess my whole family's watching. I put we got a family group chat, so I put the link in the
No doubt, no
chat.
doubt.
And so I just shout out to Dylan. Thanks for coming over here and hanging out
Appreciate
with us.
you, Dylan, man. Make sure you like and subscribe, man. I would appreciate that as well.
Yeah. And I gotta say something because he said favorite trade is Tyreek. He's not real involved in the like the sports talk and stuff. Like he watches the games and stuff, but I don't think he's too involved in what Tyreek be doing at home, Dylan. Okay. Because if you knew, you wouldn't be a big fan of him. Listen, I like Tyreek, and that's probably got to be one of the best trades. Now, it hasn't worked out too much for us when it comes to the off-the-field stuff. But, yeah, I mean, he's truly revolutionized this team when it comes to high power, high octane. My brothers and I, we watched Dolphins for a long time, right? And I never seen or watched a more entertaining team than this current team. Now, I don't think they're going to win a playoff game or they're going to do all the stuff that I want them to do. But I have to give it to them. They are an entertaining team. If you put a Miami Dolphins game on, you're going to have fun. You're going to have a blast because it's going to be a tighter game than it should be. And I got buddies that like they watch the Dolphins now that aren't even like I met in the Air Force or, in the FAA, whatever, that they're watch the Dolphins just because they're entertaining. They're high octane, high scoring. So yeah, shout out to my family that's watching. Thanks for coming by, and shout out to everyone in the chat.
Appreciate you, man.
Thanks.
Thank your family. Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Thanks
man.
for coming by. Hit that like button. It really helps out the algorithm. Help Shake out, man. You guys don't know this, but Shake and all the other guys at TFTG, they work hard to get you guys solid entertainment. They're getting some out of it too. They like to talk Dolphins, but they're doing a lot of work behind the scenes to make sure these things happen. And to give you guys something to watch on a Wednesday night, Tuesday night. In May. We're talking football in May, dude. There's not much to talk about, but we're here.
Yeah.
I like that. Larry Little's a good pick. I like that one.
Yeah, Larry Little went to HBCU too.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had some I literally looked it up too, man. We've had some really great players. I will say they're not on the Mount Rushmore, but some mentions will say Mark Clayton and Mark Duper. You have to talk about those boys when you're talking about all-time Dolphin players.
Here's it will be Marino, Bonacati,
Zonka,
and Don Shula. Okay,
JT too. Yeah.
Don Shula and Zach Thomas. Hey, man, I told you this dude knows what the fuck he's talking about when it comes to the Dolphins, man.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, we've had some great players, and Zonka too, man. That was a sleeper there. I almost put him up there. It was either Ricky or Larry.
By the way,
I had to put Ricky just because I grew up on him.
I'm gonna ask you this question, and listen. I don't expect you to get it right, but if you do, that would be amazing. There are 3 official numbers that are retired. 3. Can you tell me what those 3 numbers are?
Retired by the Miami Dolphins?
Yeah, officially retired.
Oh, let me think. This is a tough one. I want to say it's Bob Greasy's number.
Ding, ding,
which
ding.
is
right.
12, right? 12?
Correct.
Man, I can't remember Zonka's number, but I want to say Zonka got retired.
That's
I
correct.
don't know his
number
number.
2, correct. That's number 2.
Okay. And then I would say, I don't know if this one's true. They better retire if it's not retired. I would say Dan Marino because he was the
Correct.
greatest all time. But
You
I
got them
thought
all 3. Damn, you got them all right.
Oh, really? It was Dan Marino?
Yeah, them 12, 13, and 39 are
Hell
officially,
yeah. Oh, it's 39, Zonka's number. Okay.
officially
But
retired.
I thought Tua wanted to wear 13.
By the way, I want you to listen. I don't know if you know this or not, but in the AFC East, currently constructed, okay? Yep, he said, here you go. In the AFC, here's a stat that nobody talks about, but in the AFC East, as currently constructed, okay?
Yeah.
I put that caveat out there. Bills, Jets, Dolphins, and Buffalo. All 4 of those teams, the pinnacle of their franchise were when they wore the number 12.
Wow. Whoa, that just blew my mind, dude. Wait, hold on.
Bob
You're
Greasy,
right.
Bob Greasy, the Jets with Joe Namath, who wore 12.
Yeah.
Buffalo Bills went to 4 Super Bowls with Jim Kelly, who wore 12, and of course, I'm gonna tell you about the Patriots.
Bro, that just blew my mind. What? That's wild, actually. Yeah, 12's a crazy number. Because A-Rod, he wore 12 too with the Packers.
12 retired. All 4 teams have 12 retired.
Good. They should. They keep them retired too. Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
And I thought Tua wanted to wear 13 at one point because of his Alabama days.
Yeah, I think, but anyway, that's for another story. But anyway, we're about to wrap up. And by the way, this Thursday, my man Big C is gonna come in the blender soon. And yeah, man. Oh, by the way, we're okay. Well, I'm gonna do one last one for you. All right.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna do a it's a last question. All right, when you see these players, when you see this, I'm gonna put in what comes to your mind when you see this. All right, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Okay. Oh gosh, I don't even know, dude. Probably the
Alonzo Mourning, right? Alonzo Mourning.
Yeah, I can't. I'm not big on basketball, so I couldn't give you.
Okay, how about this one?
Oh no, dude. Working really hard to be mediocre. Jim Kelly, man. See, that's not my era. Okay. Tua, yeah, just injury prone. Oh, I love me some JP, man. I love JP, bro. Let me say this about JP. I really love that pick when we drafted him out of Miami. I loved his story. I loved that he had the concussions in California and UCLA, I think he was at. And he retired from football. Someone from Miami brought him into Miami, got him to play. I love JP. I hate that he's had the injuries. I think a couple of them are freak ass accidents. But that dude, he reminds me of some Jason Taylor. He hasn't even gotten close to that. But man, he's got some real talent. He can be a household name if he could stay healthy.
All right. Now here's the last thing. If Mike McDaniels gets fired, right? He has 3 career options.
Okay.
1, McDonald's employee.
Yeah.
2, Best Buy, or 3, Humpty impersonator.
Dude, he'd be really good at Best Buy, but honestly, one that's not on there, he would be really good at Chick-fil-A. I used to work at Chick-fil-A. He's a real personable guy, you know? Yeah. And I think he'd do really well. But no, he's kind of geeky. I think he knows a lot about computers, which I do, by the way, too. I'm literally on a pretty souped up computer down here.
So you say with the Best Buy, he'll be
Best Buy, yeah, Best Buy. But I listen. I'll say this about Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel's a fucking genius. I will say that. He's very intelligent, and he has a great offensive mind. But there's a thing about leaders. There's a difference to giving suggestions and making decisions. McDaniel is not a decision maker. He's a suggestion maker. He's probably a killer. He might be a top offensive assistant coach in the league when he's an assistant coach. He is not a head coach. Maybe he can be one day, but he can't be with the Miami Dolphins, in my opinion. Hopefully he learns. When you see a coach make the same mistakes over and over again into his third year, when it comes to play calling, when it comes to personnel, when it comes to whatever, I start losing faith. That Colts game, we should have won that damn Colts game. When you're trying to sell me Skylar Thompson and Mike White as backup quarterbacks, you've completely ruined everything that I have faith in when it comes to evaluating the quarterback position.
Hey, but wait, shout out to Dylan. McDaniels for president. Hell yeah.
He loves McDaniels. That's my brother, by the way. He loves McDaniels. In the family chat, I was roasting McDaniels, saying like we gotta fire him and everything, and he was defending him. So he's staying on business. I appreciate it. Thanks for chatting, Dylan. He's staying on business down there.
So any final thoughts before we wrap this up? And once again, man, I had a blast.
I had so much fun, Shake.
Yeah, I tell you what, this wine helped a little bit too. I drank pretty much the whole bottle was gone. So
hell yeah, that's what we like to hear. My brother knows I'm a big red wine guy.
By the way, this last season on the happy hour, I was doing ready to drink cocktails. And by the way, this one was my favorite. Crown whiskey sours.
I
did a lot of ready to drinks. I did margaritas, I did pina coladas.
Yeah,
all that
that's
shit.
dope.
But my favorite one was that one. Whiskey cherries. It is amazing. It's not too sweet.
I know.
Not too
Cap
dry.
said he had that one, right? Is that the one you told Cap to get?
No, that was the Bullet Bourbon.
Oh, okay.
That was good too. I had that one. That was good too.
Yeah. I will say this.
That one. And the thing about those, they're made with actual Crown liquor, not made with beverages like most of those drinks.
Before I give my final thoughts, I want to give a little thing you guys probably didn't know. Tong's talking about Crown too, by the way. I don't know if it's an Air Force heritage thing or it's all air traffic controllers, but in the Air Force, when you're an air traffic controller, after you get certified, you're supposed to buy your trainer a bottle of Crown, right? So you know how they give you that little baggie, Crown baggies? So you give your trainer a bottle of Crown and they're supposed to drink it that night or whatever and enjoy it. And it's a thank you for helping them helping you to get to where you are. And then you put your headset, we wear headsets, right? That we plug in for the radios.
I got something I want to show you backstage, but go ahead.
Okay. But you put your headset in the Crown bag. I bought a bottle of peach Crown. Me and my buddy got certified. My best friend, Tucker, got certified within 2 weeks of each other. I still use that peach Crown bag still to this day. It's in my locker right now with my headset in it.
Damn. That's what's up.
Yeah. But okay, I'll go to final thoughts. Hey, man, I just want to say thank you, Shake. I appreciate you, man. I know how hard you work. I don't fully know how hard you work, but I know you work hard on these shows.
No
giving content. I know at the TFTG
fun,
you do well, man, and like not just the content you give, but I just appreciate you helping build a community because that's really what you're doing, man. Like you're part of something on, there's something about the Dolphin fans. We're real loyal, right? And we stick together. And I appreciate that. And I really appreciate you being able to be part of that community on the YouTubes or Twitter, whatever you want to say, because it really does bring me back to home. That's kind of what we talked about earlier in the show is like the Dolphins are kind of like something for me that'll always remind me of home. And I really appreciate this community. The chat, I love the chat, dude. I always troll in the chat, so I love when I see a troll in the chat. It always makes me
Ali,
smile.
what he says, we just took our trainer to the
I don't know what that means.
NC club.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know. Hopefully he comes backstage, so he'll tell you.
Yeah. But yeah, I appreciate this community because it's great to talk about the Dolphins. Yeah, that's true. We have to be. Hey, I was talking about at work. We were talking about like being fans because everyone's Arkansas fans here, which by the way, they suck. Their football team sucks. And they were saying like, dude, you're a Dolphins fan. Like I got a Dolphins lanyard that I wear at work.
Okay,
And
sure.
they're like, you'd be a perfect Arkansas fan because I was like, well, I'm a Gators fan. He's like, you'd be a perfect Arkansas fan because you already watch a team that sucks. We suck too. Might as well be a fan of us. And it was like, it's crazy, man. Like if you can meet a guy or gal that's been a fan of a team that sucked for years, but they're diehards, that's a loyal person, bro. That's someone you want to be with long term, But yeah, it's a great show. I had a blast, Shake. This was fun,
and
man.
listen, this is if you go click the channel, it's all there. I mean, guest after guest, and everybody has their own story. Like I said, Raphael Courtwright was on there. Ali was on here a couple of times.
Yeah,
Crypto's been on here 3 times. Lewis has been on here. El Capitan has been on here. Color has been on here.
don't forget
Mike on
Marissa
the mic.
Marino.
You know what I mean? Like I said, OJ McDuffie. OJ McDuffie, Marissa Marino. We've had some guests, man.
You've had some bangers on here,
K
Shake.
Flexing, remember K Flexing?
Shake, why you got me on here? That's what I'm trying to figure out. You just named off some bangers,
K
dude.
Flexing, Great One DeVore. You know what I'm saying?
You named some bangers, bro. I don't deserve to be here. No,
oh
but
yeah, you do, bro. Listen, I only have one requisite. You have to be a Dolphin fan. That's it.
That's awesome. And see, that's the type of attitude that I like that the TFTG and the other shows around.
Chef Drew was on here too. Yeah, Chef Drew's been on here.
I love Chef Drew.
Ali Dog Freak.
He's a
by
nice
the way,
guy.
I got Lisa, the fan of the year, coming on here too. So,
but yeah, the thing is, man, it don't matter what the YouTube community we got going on. It don't matter where you're from, where you come from, anything. Just as long as you like the Dolphins and you want to talk about it, you could have a crazy take. And honestly, we love crazy takes at the TFTG. They're fun. You could have the craziest take in the world, but as long as you just want to have good community, talking to good people and have a good time, that's what we're here for. So thanks, Shake. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you for the kind words, man. I really do.
Of course, man. I mean it, man. I'm not just blowing smoke. Like if I say it, I mean it.
You really did make my day, man.
I appreciate that. And the chat, thank you, Dylan, my mom, whoever else. Thanks for coming by.
Of course, my man Cosa Nostra.
Yeah, Colwright, he be in that chat, dude. Thank you, dude. Thanks for coming by, just giving us support.
Hey, Crypto, I dropped the link in the group chat, so if you want to come up, please do so.
Mr. Polk, I got Ali
back there waiting for us. So,
Mr. Polk, that's a nice guy. I like Mr. Polk. He's a good guy. So we got some great people
this Thursday,
here, man.
Hey, Kosa, your boy Big C is gonna be on here this Thursday, man. So I know you're gonna be in for that one. I love Big C. He's from New York. His family is Buffalo. He grew up in a Buffalo household. Buffalo.
I call him, bro. I think Buffalo's Canada, dude. They're the Canadian Bills, bro. That's what they are, bro. They Buffalo Bills. They're the Canadian Bills, in my opinion. And Canada is a beautiful country. Not the biggest fan, but I love the country. The beautifulest scenery in Canada.
Oh, they make this good stuff right here.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Well, yeah, I would recommend it to anybody. It's called Crown Royal Whiskey Sours.
Hell yeah. So, I'm gonna talk to you offline about some stuff with that because I'm trying to get some. I love me some. I like bourbon, but I really like it in an old fashioned. I really like an old fashioned.
Yeah.
So we'll talk offline though.
All right, no doubt. I'll send you a picture of it. So, all right, man. Hey, everybody, thanks again this Thursday. Don't forget to tune in to Big C.
Thursday, please.
Bryson, hey, listen, you are worthy of. I'll tell you what, man. I
appreciate that, man.
And I appreciate you for making time. Look, if it wasn't for the people in the chat like Costa, like Raphael Courtwright, Mr. Polk, you know what I'm saying? These are the guys that really make me want to do
core followers.
Yeah, and for guests for taking their time to give me to allow me to interview them. You know what I'm saying?
Amen.
Hey, man, I can't do it by myself, man.
One last thing, Shay.
It takes a village, man.
Amen. One last thing, I really appreciate that. Made me laugh earlier. I really appreciate you putting my new 4-wheeler on the clip art. Oh, and she's a bad bitch. I'm gonna tell you what.
You wrote it?
Dude, I went crazy with it today. I'm not going too crazy because I'm trying to break it in right now, but damn, she's bad, dude. I'm gonna get some deer on that thing this year. Next season, I should say. But yeah, she's fun, man. She is fun.
So anyway, we about to be out this bitch, and again, much love and fins up, man. We out.
Fins up.
Snatch.
I know you heard me on the radio flexing. She loved the sound of my voice, it's the best thing. Daydreaming of the jazz all day. Pick up the phone late night with Larry K. I know you heard me on the radio flexing. She loved the sound of my voice, it's the best thing. Daydreaming of the jazz all day. Pick up the phone late night with Larry K.